Mythology oftentimes tells us of great cities and highly advanced civilizations that have mysteriously disappeared under the shores of our oceans. Catastrophic events, in which the gods struck down onto man, fire and earthquakes so fierce that utopian kingdoms, such as the continent of Atlantis, sank deep into the sea, never to be heard from again. These stories have captivated audiences for more than 2,300 years. Subsequently, theorists have suggested countless speculations about where Atlantis truly is located. In the Mediterranean, off the coast of Spain, even under the continent of Antarctica. Nevermore, numerous, if not most, researchers believe we will never find a connection to Atlantis's true location. But we do know without doubt there are some great, ancient metropolises that have fallen to the power of Mother Nature, sinking to the ocean floor, where they have remained buried, underwater, for many centuries. So today, here, on Interstellar Happenings, we'll be discussing one such city. The city of Heracleion, a city as mysterious as the ocean is deep. For millennia, the city of Heracleion was mostly believed to be a mythical lost city. But, with the ruins first seen in 1933, by an RAF commander flying over Abu Qir Bay, miles off the coast, under 10 meters of water. Sitting at the entrance to the Nile River, this ancient Egyptian city that clearly dates back to the time of the pyramids was said to have been one of the world's greatest port cities. Built by the Egyptians sometime between the 8th and 12th century BC, the city was the country's main port for international trade. Also known as Tanis, or sometimes called Tanis Heracleion, Heracleion is located near the canopic mouth of the Nile, about 20 miles from Alexandria, off Egypt's north coast. For many years, thought to be the stuff of legend, Heracleion is mentioned in a smattering of ancient texts, and by many chroniclers in antiquity, including Herodotus, Strabo, and Diodorus. The city itself was said by Herodotus to have been visited by Paris and Helen of Troy before the Trojan War began. Sporting towering statues, enormous temples, and a maze of bustling crisscrossed canals, this city also featured the magnificent Temple of Honsau, son of a moon. Some historians even believe Cleopatra III was installed here as pharaoh, in this temple city, in honor of the god. But, over a course of centuries, earthquakes and tsunamis battered this ancient port, saturating the silt ground under its foundations. The liquefaction of the soil created pockets, which, pressed by the weight of the heavy granite statues and buildings, allowed pockets of water to spurt out, lowering the level of the land, causing the buildings to collapse. Rising sea levels then gradually swallowed the city, until it was abandoned, in the 8th century AD, roughly 1,000 years after it was built. But, it wasn't until 1999, 66 years after first seen, in one of history's greatest archaeological discoveries, a French scientist rediscovered the sunken city. While not as rich or opulent as the treasures in Tut's tomb, the remarkable site of Heracleion is a virtual treasure trove of 2,000-year-old jewelry, pottery, bronze, and gold coins, as well as 64 ancient shipwrecks dating to the 4th century BC, from the reign of King Ptolemy II. Some of the incredible artifacts, dragged from the murky depths of the sea, include 17-foot-tall, red granite statues, weighing an incredible 6 tons, that some believe may be of the Egyptian pharaoh Ptolemy II. as well as two 16-foot-tall, red granite statues of Isis, a prominent Egyptian goddess, with whom Cleopatra identified, and the Egyptian god of fertility and abundance, Hapi. Also, hundreds of amulets, smaller statues of gods, and sarcophagi of animal mummies, that were sacrificed to Amun, were brought up and preserved. These finds in Heracleion are so well preserved, they offer a glimpse into the lives of Greeks and Egyptians during the time that Heracleion was a bustling major port in Egypt. One of the most extraordinary artifacts recovered from this sunken city was a magnificent black stele that stands 2 meters high and is carved with perfectly preserved hieroglyphics from the early 4th century BC. This stele reveals some of the intricacies of contemporary taxation in Egypt, reading, I quote, "His Majesty decreed, let there be given 1/10 of the gold, of the silver, of the timber, of the processed wood, and of all things coming from the Sea of the How Nebu, now known as the Mediterranean, to become divine offerings to my mother Nath." End quote. The discovery of the stele was of great importance for archaeologists, as it has helped solve a great mystery. By comparing this ancient artifact to other inscribed monuments, experts were able to determine that Taunus and Heracleion were not, as previously believed, 2 different towns, but rather one single city, known by both its Egyptian and Greek name respectively. Still, many have to wonder, 17-foot-tall statues weighing tons, and temples, etched out of pure granite. Cutting large blocks of granite of this size, with such precision and design, with the tools of the time, would have taken years, without highly advanced equipment. Could it be possible that the Egyptians had help from a much more highly advanced civilization? Atlantis, maybe. Or, even more impossible, could it be that the ancient Egyptians were visited by otherworldly beings, like the ones that have been depicted many times over in the ancient hieroglyphics? By what means did this perplexing, primitive civilization have access to such highly advanced, highly organized, and sophisticated understanding of architecture, to build such wonders we still cannot replicate until this day, may never be known? If there's anything we can take away from the story of Heracleion, is that not all cities thought to have been mythological are just stories in a mere book, but yet something more. There is a thin line that divides mythology from reality. In fact, we have learned this in the past, and proof of that rests with the archaeologists, who firmly believed that ancient cities like Ur or Troy were only a legend, until those cities were uncovered. The Earth is a big place. While it's certainly true that there are few places which can truly be said to be undiscovered in this day and age, there are still countless forests, caves, deserts, and islands, as well as the entirety of the ocean floor, where man has yet to tread. So, how many other mythological hidden cities and treasures exist? Such as the lost city of Z and Atlantis. Are they really out there? Hidden, waiting to be discovered? Only the future can tell us the answers to these questions. Many civilizations have risen and fallen over the years, and the vast nature of our planet has helped inspire many tales about lost cities, strange far-off lands, and fallen kingdoms. Although we'll never truly explore every square mile of the Earth, our modern age of exploration and technology has given us a pretty good idea of what's out there, and what's been there in the past. Nevertheless, these myths are still intriguing artifacts of history, and some of their fictional origins give us fascinating insight into the cultures and people who once believed in them. So, what do you think of the discovery of this ancient sunken city? Comment below and let me know your thoughts. And if you like this video and would like more, subscribe now for more interstellar happenings.